Why, oh, why could this announcement not wait a week, 5 days, 3 days? Why was it on the eve of this very important tariff deadline? And guys, I'll give you my take. I want to hear what you have to say. I truly believe because the timing is so cosmically bad. I really think it wasn't bad timing in terms of the way Carney thinks. Mark Carney is officially the Prime Minister of Canada, but let's face it, he's the head honcho of, unofficially, of Brookfield Asset Management. His assets are US based. He succeeds, Brookfield succeeds when the US succeeds. So all this crap going back 3 months ago, elbows up, I'm Captain Canuck, I'm wrapping myself in the Canadian flag. I am calling BS. This is the con of the century. I think Carney wanted to purposely skew any potential deal. I'll go to you first, Chris Stacey. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with that logic. I think he used this to win an election, and I mean, if his actions since are any indication, nothing he has done has helped further the cause. You know, if we're in a major crisis, he's certainly not dealing with it well at all.
No, 100%. And Eli, like I said, if you're with the Liberal cabinet and this is part of your agenda, I think this is in terms of priorities, this is not as important as a trade deal with our largest partner. Why wouldn't anyone have said, you know what? You say this. We know it's going to piss off Donald Trump. This is not what you want to do with literally hours away from a trade deadline. What's your take on this unbelievable timing?
Well, first of all, I think the reason for the timing is likely because France and the UK did it, and Mark Carney wanted to be seen as he's in with the times, right? Liberals love the current thing. Liberals love to be trendy. So right now, what is trendy? Well, it's trendy to recognize the Palestinian state amidst all of these reports about Gaza, some of whom have been debunked. So I think that was a factor. I do want to build off a bit of what you and Chris said. Mark Carney, the whole premise for re-electing the Liberals after 10 years, where almost every single metric was in the negative, was that Mark Carney was going to stand up for Trump and get Canada out of a bad situation. He literally bragged that he was a globalist, and that was good in this sort of scenario. He bragged about his banking experience, about how he's the banker, even though everybody knew this guy actually has 3 passports and, had been working not in Canada for a bit of time and, had moved this company to the US. But still, the media pushed this narrative. This guy's our savior. This guy's going to get us out of a bad situation. And so far, that has not been the case. And I'm really starting to think those people, there was a clip during the election of these baby boomers at a Mark Carney rally chanting, "Elbows up, no more Trump." I think someone should check on them today to see how they're doing.
Yeah, forget about elbows up. It's more like knees down. And, you raise a great point, Eli. I wonder how much buyer's remorse there is out there, because I think it's becoming increasingly clear. Carney lives up to his surname, like a Carney on the Midway. He conned the rubes into thinking he was going to be the savior of Canada. But, I got to ask you, Drea, another point Eli alluded to. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember just 3 months ago, while we were in the midst of a federal election, Palestinian statehood being an election issue, being a talker. It wasn't. So why is it now? And why, within 24 hours of a trade deal, is it announced? What is your opinion?
Well, it's like that saying, never let a good crisis go to waste. So they have to sort of fabricate something to deflect and distract from what a train wreck Carney has been so far. Again, piggybacking on what everybody said, the whole reason people were duped into a fourth term liberal was because of this, this rhetoric and this belief that he was going to come and save us. And he's done everything not. He might as well be, going from a playbook on how not to be a prime minister when you're in an economic crisis. So this is selecting what team you're on, getting your allies per se, and deflecting from, again, what a train wreck he's been so far.
But Drea, I feel that this is beyond incompetence. As I was alluding to earlier, I think this was deliberate sabotage to make sure any deal was skewered. And I'll get back to our guests here. The other thing, of course, is this just in terms of domestic policy? Forget about foreign policy. Pandering by the Carney Liberals. We know there are 5 times as many Muslims as Jews in Canada. I'm not saying every Muslim subscribes to the death cult of the Hamas holes, as I like to call them, but could that be sort of an agenda? They've just crunched the numbers and hey, baby, it's nothing personal. It's just business in terms of getting reelected. What say you, Chris?
Yeah, I think almost all the time, most politicians, definitely Carney, are talking out of both sides of their mouth. You can see how they approach things here with how they handle the Palestinian mobs, for lack of a better term. They're constantly trying to say that they're going to protect, stop anti-Semitism. Meanwhile, it's running rampant in our streets, and they're doing nothing about that. And then they come out with a statement like this. And it wasn't all that long ago in the House of Commons. There was a vote about this. I believe it was like 200. Voted against recognizing Palestine as a state at the time.
Yeah, and Eli, where do you think, I don't know if he's made a comment yet, but Liberal MP Anthony Housefather, is he going to do some pouting for the camera? Or I guess, is he just not going to bother? Is he just showing up to collect a paycheck as being, one of the Jewish liberals in caucus?
I want to build off a bit on the diaspora politics thing. This was something I wrote a pretty long analysis about for the Hub, about how we have imported foreign conflicts. We have abandoned this idea of assimilation, and we have imported foreign conflicts and foreign grievances in Canada. The politicians have done that. Don't blame the immigrants. Blame the politicians. They brought in the conflicts, and they've been using these conflicts for political gain, and you have these politicians that are pitting communities against each other for political gain. And the whole Trudeau liberal Palestine thing is an example of this. I mean, the liberals used to be rather pro-Israel, and then Justin Trudeau began being heckled at mosques. They began being pressured by the Muslim members of the Laurier Club of the Liberal Party of Canada. So these are people who donate a lot of money to the Liberals, who basically were saying, we'll stop donating if you don't speak up more on Palestine. And in the days that followed, Canada started breaking away from its long support of Israel and started talking about Palestine all of a sudden. Melanie Joly said it best, David, to Tom Mulcair, the Foreign Affairs Minister, said, "Look at the demographics in my writing." That says it all.
Wow.
For Anthony Housefather and for liberal Jews, I mean, the thing is, I'm not Jewish, so I can't give you an opinion as a Jewish person, but I've spoken to a lot of Jewish people because I do cover anti-Semitism pretty extensively as part of my journalism. And there's a deep sense of frustration amongst Jews with how the liberal government has handled the file. And there's also some people who don't understand why members of their community would go and support this government. So, I mean, Anthony Housefather, at this point, I mean, what you're going to do, I think he already put out a statement, but statements don't really do anything. It's an absolute disgrace what this government has done and how this government has just allowed the rampant anti-Semitism that has garnered international attention and embarrassment to happen because it's just not politically popular to take strong action and to say enough is enough.
And Eli, you raise a very good point about the hatred towards Justin Trudeau when he was still prime minister. I can tell you, we went to many of these demonstrations when Trudeau was having, say, a fundraiser, and the Hamasholes would show up, and they would be brandishing signs saying "Genocide Justin." And so clearly they weren't on Team Trudeau by that point. So I guess this is more evidence at the end of the day that the Carney con worked. We changed the head of the fish. It's not Justin Trudeau, it's Mark Carney. Well, guess what? That fish still stinks. And we got another indication of that just 2 days ago.